Damn it. Sorry, I'm having all kinds of difficulties this morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Associated Guest. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus.
We had agreed to,
here at the Buried
as I've
Mind
shared
channel.
before in
And
the press, really the best deal
today,
available to any country. They had some additional requests. They had
friends who are moving. You can't ask Canada.
we're going to get into what's going on with Canada. We're going to get into what's happening with RockStar Games hating all their fans. We're going to talk about Faris's comments on you can now reply to... That's fantastic. Well, I don't know why you would pop up a big announcement that I could do that, OBS. But, and then that should actually be here. But yeah, anyway, let's get into it.
That's Canada. They're that friend. All right. Speaking of looking silly, Canada can't help it. You can't
They're
ask
silly people.
Canada to be anything other than silly, just like you can't ask a robin not to sing. So
Tim does.
yeah, he does.
Canada is basically what if people who lived in coastal American cities lived throughout the country and it was super cold all the time. They would go even crazier, thus Canada.
So the trade war that's been going on with Canada, it's really been heating up. And I don't know how much you've been following it. Having been raised in Canada, I have some strong opinions, and I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. Now, this could fall under No Canada or the tariff fire. You decide which one. Let's first, No Canada. And I love that one.
It's a pretty good stinger.
good.
But since we're dealing with tariffs, I really like the Terrifier stinger. So what do you think is most appropriate? Which one do you like more, No Canada or the Terrifier? Or
I like No
you just want us to
Canada.
not have any stingers?
For sure.
No, don't
be
answer
that guy.
that.
Don't do that
Don't
one.
answer C.
Terrifier.
Yeah, that's.
Gerald would love
how people
Terrifier.
vote. So last week, there were new tariffs like up to 50%. They went into effect on about like $20 billion worth of Canadian goods after these trade talks. They haven't gone all that well. So these were issued under Section 338, and these include tariffs against quote discriminating countries. Donald Trump posted this on Truth. He said, Canada has been ripping off the USA for decades. They've been charging our farmers 400% tariffs and more, so much more. They've driven many wonderful U.S. companies out of business. I deal with many countries, and Canada is easily the most difficult and unreasonable, also quite gay.
I could see him saying that.
They feel entitled, but they are not a state, and will be entitled no longer. President DJT.
Have you seen? Hold on. Speaking of Canada being a state, hold on. I saw yesterday. Shit. I could have just clicked the fucking button. Okay. Yeah, right here.
Canada and China have been the two worst countries when it comes to trade policy anywhere in the world. What a shame that is. China, you of course expect. They're our biggest economic competitor. I would expect that from China. I would not expect that from Canada. We have to remember, Canada is a state. Sorry, Freudian slip.
That was pretty good.
That was actually an accident. Canada is a country
For now.
that has underinvested in
He should have said for now. 100%.
its military that quite literally would get invaded by a foreign country were it not for the umbrella of protection provided by the United States of America.
True.
Canada and China have been the two worst.
He missed the perfect
But,
opportunity
anyway.
for a yet.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, see?
They got it though.
Yeah.
They got it. They're like, oh, maybe we should be one.
But here's the thing. Canada, in always, they want to portray themselves as tough. They're not. They're putting their elbows up. Remember that?
We're tough people, we're kind people, but we won't put up with bullshit.
I think Mr. Trump has lost.
I mean,
his
you do
way,
every day.
with
Literally
his
with your
midnight
leadership.
Schoolyard bullying, and it's just like
Who's
it's causing
at the
chaos
schoolyard at
and
midnight?
uncertainty.
Midnight schoolyard.
Whatever it takes, for
Yeah.
as long as it takes.
That is the essence of the message this morning. And
That is the essence.
united with you.
I'm fully
That is the
behind what
essence.
John's done.
Gross.
The idea that we would be stocking U.S. liquor is absurd.
I don't respond to a dictator like President Trump, a bully like President Trump.
Because he's got some sort of.
You don't know what
need to
dictator
try
means.
And look macho or whatever.
Sorry, in the chat. Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten.
Completely wrong.
Oh,
and
what?
we as Canadians should never accept it.
We have a saying back home that if you're coming on, come on.
Well, he can kiss my ass as far as I'm
What the
concerned.
fuck?
We need to throw everything in the kitchen sink at him. He's arrogant. He's cocky.
See, and everyone always, you can always tell if someone's stupid when they say throw everything in the kitchen sink at them or everything and the kitchen sink at them. They're both really stupid sayings, but one is clearly more retarded.
You know what? That may be. And you guys are sniveling little pricks.
It's also not how the phrase goes. You don't throw everything in the kitchen sink at someone.
See?
You throw everything and the kitchen sink at someone.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, if you throw it in the kitchen sink, we have a saying, you're going to need a plumber.
You're gonna come on? Well, then come on.
The plumber.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
You don't come on to me, man. I'm the one who say come on. So come on, man. Tough guy.
Yeah, that's not intimidating at all to anybody.
I love Doug Ford calling Trump a dictator while he's been in office longer than Trump has.
Yeah.
You know, in Canada, we have a saying is, I have two bird in my hand and I throw the bastard in the bush.
Yes.
Don't want two bird in the hand. They fight.
That's a new one.
It is.
Makes
No,
sense,
it's
though.
a saying in Quebec, long time. Now,
Oh,
one
I
now.
don't believe that.
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
that's right.
Also, Doug
God,
Ford is
that
not
one
known for
guy's
being arrogant
accent.
at all.
I found a
But
Stitch
sometimes you
plushie at
arrogant
Shops and
sometimes.
bought him. He's
His
my
brother do a lot
He's
of
my
French in
Ohana.
Oakar, man. So, Kalshi right now actually has the chances of the United States, Canada finalizing a deal at 19%. Only 19%. Let me give you 3 reasons that Canada deserves the tariffs, okay? Whether you think this is going to play out well, why they, in principle, deserve the tariffs. Number 1, Canada turned down a really good deal. Now,
Really?
This is something that actually the U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer laid out to the Canadian media. Here you go.
We had agreed to, as I've shared before in the press, really the best deal available to any country on the planet with respect to Canada. And then, the Minister LeBlanc went back to Ottawa and they spoke with premiers, spoke with the Prime Minister, and when
The
they came
Premier.
back, they had some additional views, they had some additional requests, they had some additional things that
And we don't do addition here.
too much for the United States. It wasn't something we could do at the time. We felt that giving them the best deal in the world would have been enough to get us over the hump and put us on a positive track to even bigger and better things.
Hey, tough guy. The only thing that's too much is the person interviewing our neck. That's too much. No fun. So the tariffs, the deal included reduced tariffs for
See his
example,
big
on
old
autos.
thick neck.
It would go from 25% to 7%.
Thick neck.
Yeah, but that's still 7% too much.
Shut it.
Hey, don't make me put you in the disposal sink, man. Percent too much. From 25% to 7%. Yeah, but that's still 7%.
That's
too
a good
much.
deal.
Shut it.
Hey, don't make me put you in the disposal sink, man. The steel and aluminum was gonna go from 50% to 25%. That's 25% too much. I'm gonna throw your two bird in the bush.
Why is this a Canadian Patrick Bet-David voice?
And then on lumber, there was gonna be no tariff.
You say percentages
okay,
there.
That's one for you. That's good. We're fans of that. Let's keep that.
Percentages, Gerald.
Oh.
Gerald can do percentage. He's like Rain Man, but he can count toothpicks. He's just retard.
Do the whole segment like
He's-
That's true. No, please don't.
To Las Vegas, and instead of counting cards, lose his house.
I can't believe that's a cuss word.
But let me lay
Tabarnak.
out for you the demands Canadian. Okay?
Oh, what does that even mean? Like, I hear a bunch of Canadians say it.
That U.S. streaming platform promote
What
the
is
French language
the
media
Canadian
to
phrase tabarnak
audience
mean?
Canadian. And I know what you're going to say, okay? Hey, not only does the American not want that, but all of Canada outside of Quebec
okay.
is not one.
Okay, so apparently in French Canada, French Canada, I don't care. Québécois, so they say. It's a severe religious swear word or profanity, roughly equivalent to the F-bomb, just saying, fuck, holy shit, or holy fuck. The sacred object, the word comes from the Catholic tabernacle, which is ornamental, locked box on the altar, where the whatever that is, Eucharist, the Eucharist, sacramental bread and wine is kept. Sure. Why not? Why not, man?
That, and even half of Quebec is not one that. To you, I say, hey, put down the drug. We want French, tabarnak.
This is what they left over.
Literally. U.S. streaming platforms had to promote the French language. And if you understand the history of the Ligue des Langues and the language police, you understand
They lick
this
they
is
long?
just, it's just effectively a form of, closer to a form of fascism, actually.
Yes.
French language in
Kind of.
Quebec. And it's still, Quebec is close to half English, and it's an English country. So they said, no, that's a pass hard for me. Also, a demand we had was that the U.S. cannot dictate Canada the tariff on steel that they have on other countries like China, the way you guys say.
That one's going to come back.
Yeah, because that brings us to number 2 as far as reasons Canada absolutely deserves these tariffs. They act as China's Trojan horse, and that was a big part of negotiations. So again, Greer pointed this out in July, where he was saying, well, we can't have Canada act as a Trojan horse for China, where when we have, for example, tariffs on China because we're protecting our economy versus, obviously, those who would be opposed to a booming American economy. We can't just allow it to go through Canada and come through under a deal that doesn't punish them.
Right.
It effectively means nothing. It would be like sealing up the southern border and Canada saying, yeah, we're going to open ours.
Which
is why
sounds
they
like something
need
that
to
they would
build
do.
a wall, I think, on the Canadian border.
I'm here for
So
it.
that's what Greer pointed out. And it's based on a long-standing history of Carney cozying up to China and the commies.
The world has changed much since that last visit. And I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order.
China's strengths, for example, in electric vehicles, are formidable. They're undeniable. These are the most affordable and energy efficient and innovative.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I'm sure he's going to come up with statistics after this. But as someone who has seen the difference between a lot of anywhere else made and Chinese made products, they probably suck and will flounder. And we'll just say this. The difference between Chinese made car parts that you can buy for very cheap, and even after the shipping here, you can still buy them for considerably cheaper than good American and even Mexican made car parts. They suck. Don't get them for anyone you love. Don't even get them for your enemies because it's a waste of money. What are we doing?
Vehicles in
Oh, and also because endangering people's wrong.
the world.
Innovative?
And for Canada to build our own competitive EV sector, we need to learn from, partner with, and access and build supply chains with China. We're going to start by allowing up to 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles into the Canadian market at the most favored nation tariff rate, which is 6.1%.
But we hear this argument so often, like, well, we need Indian immigrants. Americans can't do it. We need Mexican immigrants. No one's gonna till the fields. We need to partner with China. Otherwise, how could we have electric vehicles?
Which is always something that seems incredibly racist and a bit slavey when you talk about we can't deport illegal immigrants. Who's gonna pick our strawberries? Who's gonna till the fields? Who's gonna clean my hotel room? Like I've heard so many of my personal hard left friends say things like these, I'm just sitting here like, wow, that's really racist. And then, and then these mostly white people will say, do you really think you're the one to say something's racist? And I'm just like, yeah, that's a stupid fucking argument. Like, I can recognize that you're being racist towards mostly Hispanics because you think all illegal immigrants are Hispanic, and you think all Hispanic immigrants are illegal because you're fucking retarded. Like, what are we talking about here? You are the racist one. What are we talking about?
Vehicles.
Even every Hispanic immigrant that I know, especially the ones who have seen some shit, like the Cuban immigrants, they cannot stand that people will jump the line and just walk straight through a fence. Or fly in and just kind of stay. Just fly in for like vacation and just kind of not leave. They cannot stand most of these people. And I understand. Like, I have relatives that do a lot of fucked up shit too. It's like, you love them, but then you're just like, yeah, at least I didn't have to sneak in here, Richard. Anyway.
Street. Yeah, it was by. It never stands up.
Ever hear of Tesla?
Yeah.
Maybe you can partner with the United States. Now, I know he gets some battery stuff from China.
Of course.
Like that, but
Well, now be careful with that because, of course, people may firebomb you if that ever comes back.
still, you could partner with an American company instead.
And here's the thing. They're saying the same thing. So Greer is saying, well, we don't want Canada to be a Trojan horse where basically, you know, Canada's listed as a tier 1 China transshipment country.
Yeah.
And that means that those goods that would be coming from a partnership with China would then be subject to free trade with the United States under the USMCA. Now, remember how mad the Democrats were over NAFTA for a long time?
Yeah.
And that's because it really did sell out the American manufacturing sector. How are you going to onshore jobs if you're doing this? Basically, our government is saying, well, you can't be a Chinese Trojan horse. And you just heard Carney go, well, Canada has to be a Chinese Trojan horse. Mm-hmm. So now here the other side, Greer clarifying that Canada has not done enough to stop this. They actually welcome it, and that's a sticking point.
If we want to give better treatment, like we were offering to Canada, the best treatment in the world, we expect other countries to also protect their borders. You know, Canada has done a safeguard on steel. We think they need to do more to protect the North American market. Mexico itself, they've been raising tariffs on various Asian goods to protect the North American market. I would say in USMCA originally, there was actually a provision in there where Canada, Mexico, and America all agreed that if anyone ever joined a free trade agreement with a non-market economy country like China, that country could get kicked out of the deal.
So let me ask those who, again, just lay this at the feet of, I can't believe Trump is doing this and these tariffs, they're awful. What do you propose be done when Canada says, well, we're going to partner with China, we're going to import this, and then we're going to be a de facto exporter for China, and we're going to put it under the cloak of free trade? What would you do? If not tariffs, what would you? How would you protect the American worker? Because that's the complaint that we hear. Well,
right.
Americans have been betrayed. How would you deal with this? Would you go the route of NAFTA again, which would be just saying, yeah, fair trade? Which, by the way, I kind of supported at one point in time, in theory, when I was younger and I was dumber as a libertarian, until I realized, oh, there's no such thing as free trade. We're the only ones really doing it. Which brings us to, outside of China, reason number 3, that Canada deserves the tariffs, because they have them on us. We've covered this before. Look, let me give you the tariff we put on you guys, okay? We put up to 300% a tariff on dairy product from the States United. That's because, man, we sell our milk in bag. What's the matter with you? You have carton, plastic. You ever hear of the environment?
Hold on, real quick. This just in, Colin Moriarty has blocked replies. Okay. So a little backstory. He says, while I could care less about Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks affect Take-Two, I do care that they affect tens of millions of people excitedly waiting for the game for years. Leaking and spoiling entire swaths of the game is straight up loser behavior. undeniably corny, which I agree. I completely agree. Unless they're trying to warn us of something, then I could completely get behind this statement. Gamerlectual, whatever that means. When are these dudes going to call out Rockstar and their greed? When are they going to say $80 and $100 is too much, and we have seen gameplay? And we haven't seen gameplay, which is fair, because it's, you know, they've set a price already, and just because it took them this long to get it does not mean that they have to put that on us just because they keep hiring all these consulting firms like Sweet Baby. That is not on us. That's your dipshit fault. No, they're just complaining about a dude showing more gameplay than Rockstar has. And to which Colin Moriarty says something that he will probably regret, and you can see that because he's turned off because he's turned off the replies after a lot of backlash. If you can't afford $80 for GTA 6, you should probably get a new hobby. Delusional. Well, let's see how these people, what type of shaming tactic is that? At this point, gaming media, as a fancy way of saying corpo PR. And then you have, of course, the usual people like Smash JT. Just glad to see people are finally starting to see you for exactly what you are. Which is sad, man. I've been a huge fan of Colin Moriarty for years. He fought this shit for a long time. Chris Ray-Gun, too. I think someone had to have finally gotten to them, or they finally drank the Kool-Aid, man, because they've been pushing against this kind of shit for a long time. And now they're just kind of okay with it. And I understand, like, Chris Ray-Gun, he's like 5'3", and he's just kind of a little Weasley dude. But that was part of his charm back in the day. And now it's just like, oh, yay, people like me. But insanely out of touch comment for from a place of privilege. Wow. No, exactly. Let's see if Moriarty. And see, shit like this, $80 is nothing nowadays. Fuck you, dude. Like, $80 is a lot for some people. For a lot of people. This is just privilegey shit. And then you have people out here, cry more, bum. See, this is what fucking kills me about a lot of this shit. Because people will say that they care about the downtrodden and underprivileged, and then shit like this will happen. And then they'll just be like, yeah, cry more, you poor bitch. Or her, she'll say, if you're a broke boy, just say so. If you can't afford my overpriced cookies. Her cookies are not even as good as Girl Scout cookies, and they cost probably 3 times as much as Girl Scout cookies. Probably more than that. I think it was like $30 for like a pack of 8. What are we talking about? If you're a broke boy, just say so. And then, as much as I hate to agree with Matt Jarbo on anything these days, I mean, I don't know what Tulsi Gabbard has to do with this necessarily, but sure. Affordability is the cornerstone of a healthy hobby. Okay. I agree affordability is viable. There's good news then. GTA 5 is launching with a lower inflation-adjusted price than GTA games ever. That's not true. To reiterate, if $80 for the game is going to break the bank, you should save your cash. You shouldn't be spending it. Still, even after the explanation, still a bit privilegey, man. Still. Like, I understand if you account for the fact that, yes, back in the day, people were spending like $800, $1,000 on gaming consoles. Those were mostly shitty, like, Panasonic 3DO. I think Panasonic the 3DO, Atari Jaguar, all the really crappy disc-based systems that were coming out around the same time as the PlayStation 1, around the same time as Sega CD. Disc-based systems at the time until PlayStation came out. Well, with the exception of PlayStation, Saturn had some good sides of it, but considering that Saturn botched its launch, didn't tell Sega of America what they were doing, and Sega of America came out with the 32X at about the same time. That was one of the main downfalls of Sega, but that was the reason most of these consoles were so expensive was because they were disc based in an early time for this, when they were mostly being made by one company, the disc drives. And then when PlayStation 2 came out, and let's be honest, the PlayStation 2 had some great games. But the main reason that it was so popular and so big was because, wait for it, it was the cheapest DVD player that you could get on the market at the time. Same thing with, I believe, the PlayStation 3. The PlayStation 3 was the cheapest Blu-ray player, as expensive as the PlayStation was when it first came out, the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market. And Microsoft couldn't afford to pay PlayStation because they invented it for the Blu-ray player, so they got HD DVDs, which, I mean, they tried. Anyway, continuing. I'm not talking about Moriarty anymore.
No. We put up tariff on poultry, that's chicken. Sometime turkey, man. 238%. Looks to me like your economy is Kentucky Fried SC.
Texas Fried.
We also put in on the automobile, the vehicular. That's a car is good looking.
Vehicular.
We put a tariff of 25%. And we refuse to certify Gulfstream Jetman because a big percentage of our economy is Bombardier and Pratt and Whitney, and we don't want to, we can't compete, man. So we put that on you, 300 tariff on the dairy, 238% on poultry, and not all the time, but it's go up that high if you're going to be really a dick about it, man. And then 25% on automobile, and we don't let your plane, but you guys let ours. So, we think that's best for Canada. That's the reason too. Hey, they do it. Yep. They do it all the time.
And that was already a number, right? The 25% on autos?
Yes. Yeah. And it's up to, it depends, right? It's on tiers like dairy. You can have a very low tariff. But the point is, they know that their economy it's not a real play. There really would be no Canadian dairy industry if they didn't put up those tariffs. Now, what ends up being the results for Canadians? They pay far more for dairy. What ends up as a result for Canadians? They pay far more for automobiles when you look at taxes. They pay far more for daily goods and services. Gasoline in Quebec is, I don't know, maybe...
Real quick. Speaking of Canada, Trump recently said that he's going to rename Lake Ontario to Lake America. This is stupid. Look, like, I really don't care what these lakes are named. I just know that they've been named what they've been named for a very long time. And who gives a shit, really, honestly? But then MapQuest, of all people, I didn't know MapQuest was still a fucking thing. I didn't know they had apps. To me, MapQuest is like Blockbuster Video when it comes to maps. Okay, MapQuest thought they had, cornered the market on transportation, on mapping, because you print off a map of exactly how you can get to places. And then, like, Magellan and all the navigation systems, TomToms, all came out. And MapQuest was, I thought they just were gone. I thought they disappeared. Apparently not. They survived through, I guess, some shitty app that's not anywhere near as good as Google Maps or any other map system. But MapQuest made a stand. They drew a line in the sand and said, "We're not changing it. It'll always be the Lake of Ontario to me, damn it." And Brian Krasenstein, that's enough for him to buy a new map from MapQuest. I don't know. I've done, like, no research because I don't care. Do you have to buy maps from MapQuest? Well, no wonder no one uses you, fucker. Anyway, continuing.
Mission Control, you could probably bring it up. I'd be willing to bet it's over $6 right now.
You got to convert from liters.
You have to convert liters. So it's not good for the Canadians. And it's certainly not good for the American economy. And they've been doing this for a long time, and it's...
Have I seen all those women celebrating what Lindsay Clancy did? Yes. No, and there's more going on with it. I'm trying to wait until they actually have any kind of verdict. They've added that they want to. They said you can do, I think, first-degree murder, second-degree murder, manslaughter, or let her off all criminal charges by means of insanity. And they've had, I think they're now in their second day of deliberations. I don't need to deliberate. I got the rope right here. Like this, what are we talking about? It's absolutely insane that they've had to deliberate for a whole day. Yeah, but my oppression, like that's not what this is. That's not what this is about. Like, look, I'm not the guy who will sit here and say that postpartum depression's not a thing or postpartum psychosis isn't a thing. Those are very real. Her husband could be a piece of shit. I don't care in this particular matter. It's very sad. I hope he gets his comeuppance for being a piece of shit if it's true. But to say that he's the one that actually killed the kids, to make up all these retarded stories, sorry, you got me on one, to make up all this fan fiction. Why was her body 86 degrees when the paramedics got there? Because she jumped out a window into snow and was laying there for however long it took him to find the kids. I simply do not understand why. Like I said, I could even, if it was just one kid that she just went and like, whatever, hurt the kid, I could maybe see a plea of insanity for that. But it was 3 kids. She chased these kids down. At least one of them was in a different room. She chased this kid down like she was Jack Torrance from fucking Shining. and she killed all 3 of them. That's not a momentary lapse. That is pure on unmitigated murder. I do not care. I don't care about the fan fiction. I don't care about women struggle. Sure. I can get behind you in that conversation. But she killed 3 kids. And the fact that all these fat retards are out there with babies, cheering her on, giving their kids shaken baby syndrome, being like, yay, and violently clapping their hands as their arms wiggle and wave because they're big fat walruses, and their babies are sitting there like, I just can't, man. I can't. I cannot. And all these people going online, like literally, if anyone is seeing someone, and I don't care if you're a man or a lesbian or whatever, if anyone is seeing someone who is supportive of Lindsay Clancy in this situation, just run. Especially if you're a guy and just run. Y'all don't have kids yet, run. Okay, this is like, if you're ever looking for a sign, this is it. This is the neon fucking billboard. Okay. Okay. Rant over. It's God, like, and people will just keep sending me this shit, like videos, or I'll see like Bearing did one. I was gonna do that this morning, but I think I'm gonna run out of time. But yeah, Bearing put one out, and it's just
it's all predicated on big bad America. They're so big, they can absorb the costs. You ever have friends who are moochers?
Yes.
Who like don't make a lot, so you try and be generous, and you foot the bill, you pay for dinner, but then
they start to expect it.
You go like, hey, maybe we split it, and it's an affront. That's Canada. They're that friend. And they double down.
I like that. Lunatics see crazy.
More tariffs
It
on
fits.
American goods, steel, dairy, paper, wood pulp products. I tell you, this is like them doing this. It really is. People are saying this will be bad for the United States. They can't sustain this very long. It will be a disaster for them. And so I think us asking for something fair and reasonable, which if you look at these requests, I would say are certainly within those bounds. Canada refusing, this would be disastrous for them. Be as bad as...
And this is one thing that I don't understand about a lot of hard left-wing people, especially politicians. People are willing to burn, like, I can't remember the new fucker's name in Canada. I know he's worse than the last one. He is willing to burn his country's economy down, which it already pretty much is. I mean, Canada offers, like, and it wouldn't be so bad, like, if they just offered legal suicide for its people. They promote it. Hey, you a little sad? Have you thought about ending it all so we can get some more housing for, you know, people coming into the country? Have you thought about that? I don't understand this shit. I don't understand people who are willing to burn everything to the ground just to spite Christians or just to spite Republicans or anything like that. And yes, I understand that there are people on the right like that too. They're also retarded. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, Jewish space lasers. Like, what? I'll never understand this shit, man. Like, I don't see the positive side. It's my main gripe with socialism. Not even the fact that it's completely unattainable just because people in general are corrupt. What's wrong with capitalism is not capitalism. It's corruption. It's I can't even think. The crony capitalism is what it really is. But to think that people don't trust politicians now, and they would be happy to hand over the entire means of production and reins of power to the same corrupt individuals that are running things now, and you think that these alleged DSA members are really the knights in shining armor that you think they are? No. They've said they want to hollow out the middle class. All the things that the left and parts of the right have said that they want to do to build the middle class forever. The bridge between poor and rich people. The means of anyone making any progress at all. The middle class. They want to hollow it out. Zoran Mamdani has someone, I can't remember what her name is off the top of my head. She wants to hollow out the middle class. It's her objective. She has said this. And people like Hassan Piker say that she's based and say that Zoran Mamdani, he says that the worst part about Zoran Mamdani is the fact that he surrounds himself with people who are more extreme than he is. That's my main issue with all of this. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that living in a utopian, Star Trekian world where the little thing that just materializes food and clothes and all that shit wouldn't be fantastic. But we don't have anything in place to where we can even start thinking about that at this point. Anyway, sorry. It's going to be a tangential morning, I guess.
They messed up Thomas the Tank Engine.
Hey, boss. I just wanted to clear something up. When you said to fill the boiler, did you mean with coal or with meth? Coal. Right.
Thomas the Crank Engine.
Terrifying.
That's why they list the population at 8,000.
That's true.
It used to be 18, but there was a genocide.
well, Thomas the Crank Engine.
It was just
came
Thomas
through.
the Crank Engine.
Yeah, he just went off. By the way, it's $6.93 a gallon. As
he said it.
$6.93.
That's higher than California.
What did I say? Over 6?
You said over 6, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Okay.
In my head, again,
All right, we're gonna move on.
Fable is only a few months from releasing, and it looks rough. I have absolutely no idea what the developers have done with this time except for eat snacks in the break room. And
I think I'm gonna. I don't have the strength to watch the Sydney Watson or the Bearing video this morning. I'm gonna watch something, but I will watch this.
Guys, you aren't gonna believe this. I found old home videos your grandma made when she was young. Maybe these old memories could wake her back up.
Really?
Let's see.
Oh my god, totally.
I hate being a mom! I hate my kids! Nobody appreciates me! I want to die all the time! I hate my family! I hate my husband! I hate my kids!
So, I made the mistake of sending this to my mom without context. Like, she's heard of the Lindsay Clancy thing. And she was so offended. She thought I was talking about her. I was like, no, I'm just making fun of TikTok moms, like the ones that are supportive of Lindsay Clancy. She's like, oh my god, I have to watch it again. I'm so upset. Hold on. And she watched it again. She's like, that's really funny. And I was like, yeah, sorry. I forgot that I hadn't talked to her about the Lindsay Clancy thing. She's mentioned it, but we hadn't gone into it. But anyway.
I understand why Nina Baker killed her kids! I get it!
I hope no one else saw that.
It says here she mailed a copy to everyone she knew.
Why on earth would she do that?
A bunch of moms wrote letters back.
Sly Quaid. Same girl.
Strange.
Incels will
We'll
never
find
understand.
Here's a list of things I don't do for my husband. 1. I don't do his laundry. He's a grown man. 2. I don't tell him I love him. He shouldn't need my validation. Number 3. Talk to his children. Yeah, I'm a mom, not a nanny.
So she just vented about how much she hated her family and sent her venting sessions out to everyone.
I guess.
Everyone.
It's the most unhinged thing I've ever heard in my life.
Okay. This one looks different.
I hate my family! And my idiotic son, Gene! If I have to hear his stupid voice one more time. Gene, I'm so stupid, even my own mom doesn't love me. Gene? Is that you? What's going on? What are we watching? Oh.
Mom, how could you?
I hate being a grandma. Oh, my stupid family doesn't understand the mental load I have to deal with.
It's over. It's over. It's over.
We're making a full-length animated series.
It's Freedom
Episode 1 has
Tunes.
been uploaded, and audience feedback has been incredible. Check it out here.
No, this guy's hilarious. He's if you guys haven't seen it, go watch Freedom Tunes. He's absolutely hilarious. He does all these little short skits. He has Tim Pool on there. I think Tim Pool does the Ben Shapiro, the Bernie Sanders voice. But yeah, pretty much anything topical over the last, God, I think 8 years now, 6, 8 years, something like that. They've covered in one way or another. But anyway, continuing on, back to RockStar.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So obviously it's been a very rough week for RockStar. We had not only the leaks of GTA 6, but also it's been a really bad time for their PR. But despite all of that, despite all of the greed that RockStar has exhibited over the last couple of years, there's always shills who are going to defend this game and even poor shame people for not wanting to spend $80 to $100.
Oh shit, is he going to cover the Colin Moriarty thing?
Copy of a game. But
Whoops.
also, RockStar just did an interview that released yesterday where they talked about ridding their company of misogyny and correcting all of the misogynistic things going.
And I'll say this on behalf of the fan base of pretty much any fan base. We'll just spread it out like that, giggity. No one cares if you have a main character that's a female. No one cares. As long as you don't make her like a Captain Marvel type girl boss. You know, the quote-unquote strong female character that's not strong and barely female. No one cares if you have a female main character. No one really does. Grand Theft Auto is like a fantasy. It's like, you know, you're going around a realistic version or cartoony type version of the real world and just letting out your frustrations, running people over with cars, which I have to say, they've talked about putting gay pride parades in Grand Theft Auto, and I don't think that they should, because there's no good outcome that can come of it, okay? Just specifically because you'll either have them to where you can run them over like any other character in the game, to where you can just run them over, And people will complain because there will be people who just go through and do that on stream. And it'll be considered a hate crime and this whole other thing. Or you'll have it in there and you won't be able to run them over. And then that'll raise questions of itself. Like, there's no good outcome for putting just a huge gay pride festival in this. There's not. And I don't even... especially because it's going to be like not even a mature rated game, like not even like Peggy 17. It's going to be like restricted, like the one game that gets an A rating if you have it be accurate, where people just walking around with their dicks out. But yeah, there's no good outcome for having that in the game. There's just not. Whether you make them like every other NPC in the game or you make them invulnerable, people will have backlash. The game will still sell. It just won't sell nearly as good as it could have been if you had just not done that.
Going on in this franchise as they empower their female leads for GTA 6. On top of that...
Again, no one cares if you have a female protagonist. As long as it's well done and it's not a girl boss like Captain Marvel. That's literally it. You can have it be an actual strong person who's a female, but it can't be a strong female character.
We have the response from RockStar, really finding out after massive leaks.
If you know, you
also
know.
Going out there and issuing subpoenas now. But
hey, Yunuka.
Right now, the latest is the official.
Why am I? It shows I have like 0 people in here, but I'm getting all kinds of people in the chat. I'm happy for it, but anyway, sorry. What's this? Meanwhile, in death, holds out Fern's phone, turns on TikTok. I hate being dead. There's nothing here but black. I don't want to sleep forever. It sucks. Comments. How can she still talk while she's dead? Hey, Yunuka. No, exactly. But that's... I don't think that they should, because either people will do that and people will cry and bitch and scream. And they'll overcorrect and do the other thing to where they'll still have it in, but you can't do that. And now people will cry and bitch and scream because you have this in there, and it's a protected group within a video game fantasy world. What?
Drop. So despite the leaks,
and it's not even like we haven't had like gay characters in GTA before. We had like the Ballad of Gay Tony. It was a DLC for GTA 4, the one GTA that had DLC.
GTA 6 has now dropped a 27-minute long in-game set of footage on Netflix, which of course is a interesting move. They're really maximizing every cent they can get with this game. But of course, at the end of the day, people are going to look at the gameplay that has been revealed, and you're going to like it or you're not going to like it. It always looks visually stunning. I don't think anybody is surprised by that, but a lot of cutscenes.
Yes, I see that on like I'm observing on YouTube. I see that, but like on my, for some reason my OBS is showing me I have 0. Super weird.
And we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to GTA, yes, a lot of hardcore gamers are going to be buying this, but the majority of their bank is made on normies, okay? Normies who typically buy 2 games a year, so they don't care if they spend 80 or 100 bucks. They don't want to miss out on the game that everyone's going to play. That's how they get all of their money. Those types of people don't know anything going on with this game and RockStar. They don't know about the leaks. They don't know about interviews. They don't know about the internal process over at RockStar and the controversies and all that stuff. So that's really where they get their buck. But let's talk about the leaks real quick. I can't show... well, I guess I would be kind of safe showing anything, but, like, they're taking this very seriously, okay? This is a
I know I don't want them in either. Oh, no, I know. But you should be able to, like, that's the whole point of Grand Theft Auto. It's literally just like a palate cleanser for your whole life. You go in there, you wreak havoc, maybe do a couple of actual missions. You run over people, you shoot random people. You just while out, and the next thing you know, you're on top of a building with 5 stars. And the cops eventually snipe you or shoot you from a helicopter and you die and you start over, and you may do the same thing or you may do another mission or 2. Then you get that 1st star. Rinse and repeat. Trevor is presumably bisexual, probably. I mean, there were some inklings, but the way they did it, it was played off as funny. Also, that one gay guy from... Yeah, no, exactly.
multi-billion
Yeah, the Ballad of
dollar
Gay Tony.
project, and when these massive amounts of leaks came out, it was quite the crap storm, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, some people have no sympathy for RockStar, given everything with their greed and their practices, but of course, there are also shills who are very upset about these leaks, including Colin Moriarty, who has really been a bad take factory for a while now.
He's been so disappointing
saying,
for
"While I
like the
couldn't
last
care
year,
less
maybe
about
two.
how the Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks affect Take-Two, I do care how they affect the tens of millions of people excitedly waiting for the game for years. Leaking and spoiling entire swaths of the game is straight up loser behavior, undeniably corny."
Which I can get
And
behind.
This user says, "When are these dudes going to call out Rockstar and their greed? When are they going to say $80 and $100 is too much and we haven't seen gameplay? No, they're just complaining about a dude showing more gameplay than Rockstar has." And then Colin responds with the most tone-deaf response, saying if you can't afford $80 for GTA 6, you should get a new hobby.
If you're a broke boy,
Delusional.
just say so.
Yeah, this didn't go well. Okay, 1,000 likes versus 1,700 replies, and that's after he locked the replies because it was getting too savage. Here's some of the responses. Here's the person he was talking to saying, "What type of lame shaming tactic is that? At this point, games media as a fancy way of saying corpo PR. Mask off. This is why gamers do not trust game journalists. You all wear your disdain for gamers on your sleeve. Ironic that you still demand the same gamers you hate to take your opinions seriously. I'm just glad people are finally starting to see you for exactly what you are. Yeah, capitalism, baby. Woo.
And I'm not even a Smash JT fan.
Positive consumer
At all.
practices, and especially F the pores again. Insanely out of touch comment from a place of privilege. Wow. No way you just said that. Or it's overpriced. Yeah. Pretty much destroyed there, but going back to the leak situation, I'm going a bit in chronological order here. Eventually, subpoenas have been delivered. The person who did the leaks, who was mainly responsible, was anonymous, but I don't think he's...
I don't remember. It's been a little while since I played GTA 4.
going to be anonymous much longer.
I love it. Like, I remember that you can play, like, you could walk into a comedy show from Cat Williams or Ricky Gervais. I remember the driving mechanic was a bit off. It felt a bit more realistic, maybe. But I just remember it's still considered the bastard child, but I still thought it had a lot of really positive aspects to it.
Longer, and also people who are reposting the leaks are also getting hit with subpoenas. That's going to be a very rough time. I think I'm actually more concerned about law enforcement being involved in a situation than the lawyers over at a place like RockStar. Like, they're going to be spending gorgillions on this to make sure whoever did this is going to pay for it. But they did make a statement a few days later saying, "Dear all, we know that many of you have been waiting to hear from us regarding the events of the past week. It would be an understatement to say having videos of Grand Theft Auto 6 gameplay leak in this way has been heartbreaking for our team, and this is obviously not how we intended for you to see the game after all this time. We are very sorry that everything has taken as long as it has, from getting the game finished, nearly there, to sharing more details
Allegedly.
and official gameplay, and providing the community with everything you want to know." And they also state down here, "While it is unfortunate that the intended game experience may now be impacted by some spoilers, we hope that everyone will wait a bit longer to experience the game for themselves on November."
I have to say, as someone who's been a fan of GTA since, I kind of liked the first two games, but I've been playing since 3. 3 was hard to love, but it was fun. Vice City was fantastic. And then San Andreas was my favorite until 5 came out because you could fucking swim. I don't know what it is about PlayStation 2 games where if you touched water, you would die instantly. Just because they didn't want to generate any swim mechanics, I guess. I mean, everyone hates water levels, but if you happen to land in the water, you should be able to find your way to shore. But I guess it is a good way to lose your, police tail. But I don't know. No one cares about spoilers in the Grand Theft Auto community. Nobody. Really, nobody cares. You don't play it for the story most of the time, and even if you do, what are they going to spoil? Shooty, shooty, bang, bang. You can, and I mean bang in several different ways in this. But, I mean, honestly, what's it going to ruin? We've seen Liberty City. We've seen wherever this is going to be set. Whether it be in Vice City, Liberty City, or San Andreas, or Los Santos.
19th. My goodness. Yeah, unfortunately, with the way that they've acted, the greed, not many people feel sorry for RockStar, saying, you guys 100% deserve this. Hope they leak the entire PC builds. Here's another one saying, take 13 years, billions of dollars in the making. Big layoffs, lay off devs after trying to unionize. $100 for an unfinished game, digital release exclusive through PS. PC community left behind again. Paid trailer, play the victim after leaks. F you, genuinely.
Yeah, and real quick.
Here's another one. What
Show
the
me
F
the
do you
release
mean?
date for
The
every
game
single
isn't
Grand
actually
Theft Auto
fully
game
finished.
that's ever come out.
Billions of dollars in a decade of work while screwing over both worker and consumer alike, and you're still not ready. And you want us to pay $100.
And let's see that real quick. So 13 years. Grand Theft Auto 1 came out in 97. Number 2 came out in 99. Number 3 came out in 2001. And that was a big leap between 2 and 3. Sorry, Grand Theft Auto London came out in 99. London 2 came out in 99. Grand Theft Auto 2 came out in 99. Grand Theft Auto 3 came out in 2001. That was a huge leap. Grand Theft Auto Vice City came out in 2002. So within a year, you had a full other game, and it was leaps and bounds better than the previous one. Sorry, I didn't mean to mispronounce something like I was Candace Owens. Liberty City Stories came out. Vice City Stories came out. Where's San Andreas? Oh, San Andreas came out in 2004. And these are coming out on multiple consoles, mind you. So, just so you know, The Ballad of Gay Tony came out in 2009. Grand Theft Auto 5 originally came out in 2013. So, what he said there, 13 years, is supremely important. So, and all that they've released between now and then was Grand Theft Auto Online, which came out the same year. The GTA trilogy, which came out with a thud. It was awful and glitch-filled when it came out. And then I guess 6 is coming out soon. But so 6 is supposed to come out this year. Let me tell you what they were doing, what they did the 13 years before that. In roughly 13 years, and we won't even include Grand Theft Auto 1, Grand Theft Auto London's, or Grand Theft Auto 2. We'll start with 3. So they dropped, starting in 2001. GTA 3 came out in 2001. Vice City came out in 2002. San Andreas 2004. Grand Theft Auto Advance 2004. Liberty City Stories. So they had, we'll just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chinatown Wars. I forgot about that. 11. They released 11 games in less than 13 years on multiple platforms. And it wasn't even the same game that they released on all these. A lot of those games were multi-ports. They were on all the main consoles, except for Nintendo. In the last 13 years, and I'll agree, yes, they were supporting GTA Online. But they haven't really done a whole lot with that. And each release since COVID really, has gotten gradually worse ever since. It's giving you a kind of window into what the next one's going to look like. But yeah, all those games in 13 years, waiting on this one game and getting diminishing results on all the updates on Grand Theft Auto Online in the last 13 years. Grand Theft Auto 5 started off on PS3 and Xbox 360, mind you. And it's been upgraded, sure, for each generation since then, yes. So, it's the same game. And I understand wanting to, milk that cow until it's a shriveled up husk of the great steed that it once was, but...
dollars and now own the game. Go
steer.
Yourself.
Great steer, sorry.
Yeah. Again, nobody feels sorry for RockStar in this situation. Their greed knows no bounds. But of course, at the end of the day, the target audience, the normie types, they're just going to buy this game because, oh, look, cool, a new GTA came out.
Not me.
I budgeted for 2 games this year, and that's one of them, obviously, because everyone's going to be buying it. I want to fit in with everyone. But, yeah, they don't even see stuff like this going on. They just see the release date, and they go and consume. But also, we have this interview with Dazed, where you get an exclusive deep dive into this game, and there is one section that is definitely worth looking at quickly. So Lucia is also the first fully fleshed out female lead in a mainline GTA game. Before her, it's all male protagonists dating back to 1999. Previous installments, including GTA 5, drew criticism for misogynistic themes and underdeveloped female characters. But the series has evolved. Oh boy.
Oh God.
It hopes to attract more female gamers to its previous male-heavy player base. In Lucia and Jason...
Like, can I just say, how much money... how much money across all systems did Grand Theft Auto 5 make, including online? Okay. How much money across all systems that it's been on has Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online made? Yeah. $10 billion. You're not trying to expand your franchise. That's not what's happening. It's just another example of them trying to take away something that's not theirs. It's, can you let your kid sister play? That's all it is. Look, I'm all for things evolving or whatever as time goes on. But if something's working, you don't fix it. $10 billion over the course of 13 years, which is when the Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. $10 billion is nothing to sneeze at. My God. How much, hold on. Especially after, how much did Grand Theft Auto 4 make? Lifetime. Really? That's shocking. Hold on. How much did Grand Theft Auto 4 make before Grand Theft Auto 5 came out? It couldn't have been too... Really? I didn't know that. Okay. But even so. I mean, hold on. Production-wise, roughly how much did it cost to both make Grand Theft Auto 5 and keep Grand Theft Auto 5 updated for every system and Grand Theft Auto Online updated throughout the last 13 years? Okay. Okay, so that's including the estimated cost of the initial game, $137 million. Initial global marketing, $128 million. Worth it. Console ports and remasters between 2014 and 2022, $150 million roughly. GTA Online DLCs for 13 years, $300 to $400 million. Server infrastructure and maintenance, $150 to $200 million. Grand estimate, about $1 billion to make it, with over $10 billion in profit. You've made a lot of money. And you've scraped off the people who were there initially. I will say that Grand Theft Auto 6 will probably be The Force Awakens. It'll probably be a serviceable game. People will enjoy it well enough, but it will be a dark omen on the franchise as a whole. And that's being optimistic. But anyway, let's continue on to one last little thing we'll try to get through real
It matters who
quick.
you marry because one day your kid might be trying to convert you. Something interesting is happening in America. Gen Z is more interested in organized religion than their parents. In the case of Anna Faris and Chris Pratt's son, he's actually trying to convert Anna Faris. It's an interesting story. Let's dive in. Kind of a fascinating interview the other day between Anna Faris and Chelsea Handler. I mean, that is a rare descriptor where I say fascinating, having anything to do with Chelsea Handler. Anna Faris was discussing a conversation that she had with her 14-year-old son, Jack, who is religious. Now, remember, Anna Faris was married.
Hold on, real quick. Did this really happen? Colin Moriarty blamed the fans for Mass Effect 3 being shit? I'm going to have to look that up. I don't know how I missed that. That's crazy. If anyone can find that, shoot it to me on X or on YouTube. But I'm gonna look that up today.
To Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, of course, is a practicing Christian. He is now married to Katherine Schwarzenegger.
Which is
He has
awesome.
3 children with her. And Anna Faris, apparently, was confronted by her son, who was talking to her about Jesus. And here's what she said.
I think my son he's like as solid as a tugboat emotionally. He just doesn't get easily jarred. He handles situations really well. He is.
Meanwhile, she looks like Jeffrey Dahmer. I used to love Ann Faris, but she's not been doing well since the divorce, which is sad because I thought they would be like a power couple, like Kurt Russell, and I don't like saying power couple. It's kind of cringe, but they kind of seemed like a Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn type thing. Like everyone loves Kurt Russell. People used to love Goldie Hawn, and she kind of faded out a bit.
Religious. And
Are you religious?
No, I didn't grow up with religion.
Okay.
He's asked me to accept Jesus Christ
as your savior.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I told him that I would do anything for him, including this, but it's gonna take a whole lot of long conversations. And he's impressive, actually. He's impressive. Because I try to challenge him. I'm like, do you think it's a luxury that you get to be pro-life? Do you think that's kind of a luxury? He's like, maybe.
How is it? You have to, when you say asinine things like this, you have to explain why it would be a luxury. You can't. I mean, even if it is just because it's a dude. Like, I understand like the argument between people who are for and against abortion. Let's be honest. This hasn't been really pro-choice in a long time, and I've never been a fan of calling it pro-choice because if you make good choices, you wouldn't have a kid with random person. But and I say that to both the man and the woman in that by any stretch of the imagination. For the most part, Christians are pretty consistent when it comes to their pro-life side of things. And honestly, I don't know. I think abortion is it's awful. It's disgusting. However, I don't want a lot of these people having kids. So, as someone who's not particularly religious, I'm always a little. Well, but again, I try to stay out of this one because there's enough people arguing about it without me putting my 2 cents in. I don't like the arguments on the left side because most of them are stupid and entitled.
So, a few things about this that are fascinating. First of all, good for her for having deep conversations with her kid, I suppose.
Yeah, agreed.
It goes to show you, and I've said this many, many, many times, that when you get married to somebody, the first thing that you should be thinking is, how do we want to raise our kids? What values do we want to raise our kids?
That is true.
And again, it doesn't mean that And it's everybody's fault when a divorce happens. You might be aligned at one point, and then people change. That sort of stuff happens, obviously. But one thing I know, that there's complete solidarity with me and my wife. I mean, we're in solidarity on pretty much everything in our life, but on this in particular, we are in dramatic solidarity, which is how we wish to raise our children. This is why when I give young people advice about dating, I always say date for values, because you don't want a situation in which one day you've brought your kids up with a religion, and then one of the parents comes in and tries to undermine that. Right? That's a huge problem. It matters who you marry. I know, this is falling out of passion.
And I will say that. You should talk about, especially if it's a serious relationship, you should talk about your values when it comes to certain things in particular, most things. Especially if you're young and you want to, go through your entire life with said person. Just being cool is not enough. Just being someone you have fun with is not enough. Sexy time. Yeah, sure, cool, but it's not enough for an entire relationship. I'm just saying. It's fun. It's enough for certain people, and if that's all that you care about, sure, fine. But again, you have to discuss that and be honest with people. I was talking to someone on X said that they're going on their first date with a dude. It was a trans person. And everyone in there is just being mean and mean and mean and mean. And I just said something simple. As long as that person knows and you're honest and everything like that and he's still cool with it, sure, have a great time. I don't care as far as that little bubble goes. But if you're lying to the guy and he finds out later and you get beat the fuck up, I mean, what did you expect to happen? I mean, it's like pop goes the wiener. Anyway, but
You're supposed to just marry the person that you fall in love with. But here's the thing. Set the preconditions before you fall in love with somebody. I know. This is not the way the movies tell you to do it. I know you think that you're just going to walk down the street and you're going to be hit by the love bug, and then you're just in love with the person. And now you pick them with all their flaws and all their ideological foibles and all of your values different. No. Wrong. Set the guidelines at the very beginning, and you will end up with somebody who agrees with you on how to raise the kids, which, after all, is the entire purpose of marriage. It is the entire purpose of the institution. Sure, it's great that two people love each other and live with each other. Sure, that's wonderful. But the purpose of marriage is the production and rearing of children, and how you create those children and rear them is the whole issue. So again, girls, boys, check your values before you decide who to date. Get to more on this in a moment. First, technology has made pretty much all of our wants and desires instant. That little Simone, the rest of it work out, and that's a great thing. I mean, she says it herself, Hannah Faris. She says that her 14-year-old son is really smart. He's with it. He's knowledgeable. And good for him. Really good for him. And it sounds like good job, Chris Pratt, as the dad, for instilling religious values in his kid. But to me, this is the great tragedy always in any case of a broken family, is when you have a mom and a dad who weren't on the same page. And you wish the best for everybody involved, but that makes it significantly more difficult, obviously. Now, meanwhile, speaking of broken families, I could not imagine being a child of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. What a disaster area.
Okay. I don't care about Kanye West or Kim Kardashian. It is, I saw that part. She was on the same cover, the same magazine as Grand Theft Auto 6 was in the last thing we watched. But but I don't care. Like, I admire her in a way, Anna Faris, for allowing her son to be who he is, and at least not publicly trying to push back on the fact that he wants to be religious. Because if the kid was trans, she would insist that everyone accepts that. So she should accept the fact that the kid has, at least for now, chosen to be religious. But I don't like that she said that she tries to challenge. Like, I do like that she challenges it, because you should challenge your kids' beliefs to see if they actually believe those things, or if they are just doing it because mommy or daddy does it, or because it's popular, fashionable, whatever. You should challenge your kids' beliefs, no matter what. You should do it to try to strengthen them, for the most part, unless it's something that's probably going to end up killing them or destroying them. But I don't know. Like, I do it to my cousin all the time. He's a pastor, and I can argue for or against religion, honestly, especially for people who believe something really hard but don't know anything about it, which is a lot of people, sadly, on both sides of that. But I challenge him a lot, and I respect the shit out of him. One time he was researching other religions so he could better convert people from their religion to his religion. And he was in that aisle, and he said someone walked by him and told him that he was going to hell and a bunch of other stuff. So I shot over there real fast. I was about to antagonize someone protesting Walmart until he called me, and I shot over there real fast, and I put on the Sorting Hat from Harry Potter. He was at Books A Million. And I grabbed a couple other little artifacts, and I just started wandering the aisles waiting for someone to tell me that I was going to hell. And not just... Again, because telling someone that they're going to hell isn't going to do anything. At the very least, you're going to shove them off because they're going to see that someone is... It doesn't do anything to pull them back. At the time, he was in his 20s. Now, he was a pastor, but had he not been a pastor, that could have been something that put someone off of religion just for being curious about something, saying that you're going to go to hell. Not, hey, you shouldn't do that because this, and this, and you should actually do this because this, and this. But just walking by someone and smugly saying something like that, that's one of the reasons that people hate religion. And whether you're right or wrong, your main crusade in life as a religious person should be to get people to come to your religion, not to just walk by and chastise people because you hold it as some kind of badge of honor because you're a part of this thing. At least in the early 2000s. But, and again, like I said, I'm for religion, but I'm not particularly religious. I'm at a time of, I don't know. I've done a lot of reading in my life. I've been religious. I've been not religious. Hey, good morning, Jess. The mighty captain of the X Street Pirates. But anyway, real quick, just a couple little things before we sign off. Someone said, "Hey, what movie has the greatest ending?" And this person said, "This is a movie called The One."
Got a pretty mouth.
I am Eula. I'm nobody's bitch. You are mine. I don't need to know you. You only need to know me. I will be the one.
So this person's superhuman, by the way. He goes from dimension to dimension, killing himself in that universe and obtaining, and then the power of himself in that universe spreads out to all the other hymns of other universes, and they all become that much stronger. It's the mechanics of this universe. But so this guy's like insanely powerful because it's just him and one other version of himself still left in the hundreds and hundreds of universes in the multiverse. But I got to say, this is one of the greatest, not the best choreographed, but one of the greatest endings of a movie in a long time. I wanted a sequel, or at least like an end credit scene of just him fucking more people up. Jet Li kicking people's ass on top of a little baby pyramid in a prison. It's just awesome. No, me too. It's amazing. Right. Anyway. And then sadder news. This is happening apparently. I've seen it a couple times. I hope it's not real. I hope it's not real. Just because of how horrible. Look, I've always been a Taika Waititi fan. I very much loved the movie he has. What's it? Jojo Rabbit, where this little kid in the Hitler Youth has an imaginary friend who's Hitler, played by himself. It's a great movie. It's got laughs. It's got heart. It's a really fun, interesting, tear-jerking movie. Kind of like if Life Was Beautiful was written by Robin Williams. It was really well done. A lot of his older stuff that he did with the guys from Flight of the Conchords. Really fun, really interesting, kind of cringy, but still a lot of fun. Their awkwardness was part of their charm. Thor Ragnarok comes out, and I'm a little torn because he doesn't feel like the right fit for Thor. But the movie came out, and especially since the first two movies had great characters, but didn't have any great direction except for just existing. And Ragnarok came out, and it was interesting. It really was. I found it to be great, and he did a really good job making Thor an interesting character, making him dumb, but not to the level that he was on like Ghostbusters 2016, which was my biggest fear after that, when I saw it was kind of zany and quirky. But it was good. Overall, it was good. You had some good fights between Thor and Hulk. It was part of the wuss banner being on screen more than Hulk for some reason, about halfway through the movie. There were some fun bits done with it. Ended well, led up to Infinity War. And it, had some heartfelt moments in that. And then Thor Love and Thunder came out. And it was one of those situations, the same thing that happened with Patty Jenkins in the Wonder Woman franchise, to where the first one was really well done. It had some problems, but overall, good movie. Thor, I thought it was the better of the Thor movies. And then they gave them full reign, creative freedom on the sequels, so long as they did a couple of things. And it was just bad. It was too much. It's like he got full of himself, did a bunch of ketamine, and then Thor Love and Thunder happened. You ruined one of the greatest, honestly, one of the only good just Thor villains that I can think of in Gore the God Butcher. And that could have even been a lead up to a future Venom Null storyline, because the sword that Gore the God Butcher uses is an extension of Null. It is Null's sword. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But yeah, the bad guy from Venom 3, that's his sword that Gore the God Butcher uses. And it's like, I know that he's the God Butcher and you don't see him butchering any gods really. They didn't really do it in the comic either. They found a way to make him menacing. It's kind of like, less is more. You heard of his lore and you were just like, oh God, what's going to happen? And it took 3 Thors in the comics to defeat him. Future, past, and present. Not sure how that works, but it kind of worked with the storyline. And again, he's supposed to look more like kind of Voldemort-y. He doesn't have a nose. You kind of wasted a great actor in Christian Bale. But it was just awful. It was laughable. They went full-fledged on. Now it was the one good part was Thor himself was a bit more serious, kind of, in certain parts when he was being laughed at. Like when they stripped him of his clothes and he was more serious. But just other parts, like, I don't know. So having him being in charge of Judge Dredd, 2 things. One, Dredd with Karl Urban was a great movie. It was much better than the 90s one with Stallone. And people have been hoping that they would do a sequel with him in it, especially now that his star has, risen a bit. But now this is happening. And even if they put Karl Urban in it, I just don't know, man. I don't know. And just this face says a whole lot. Not sure who that is. I thought he was with that chick that played Valkyrie, but maybe I guess that's over. And again, why can't we get a Karl Urban sequel? Exactly. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for today. Sorry for the late start again. I was having all kinds of difficulties this morning. I will be back on this weekend to play more Spider-Man. I played through a couple hours last night. Mostly got side quests and such done. Introduced Screwball, who is just basically Kathy Griffin if she made a wish with one of those wishing willows, that she could be an annoying 20-year-old once again. And that's basically it in today's day and age. But yeah, that's going to be all for today. Guys, I appreciate y'all for coming in through here. Yanuka, Angie, Jess, the captain of the X Street Pirates. I appreciate all of y'all for coming in through here. It means the world to me. But until next time, actually, we'll see you tomorrow. If you want to come and watch me play through a bit of Spider-Man. Sometimes it's Peter, but Peter Porker. But anyway, guys.